Hey y'all, we are back with some more marriage education.
Yes.
And the last time we left you guys, we said that we were coming back to talk about what happens to the sex after marriage.
Oh wow. What happens to the sex after marriage? So listen, we're going to get into it today, and we're going to talk about it. We're not pulling no punches. We're not holding anything back because it is such an important topic.
Yes, it is.
Pitfalls to avoid in your marriage to prevent problems in the area of sex, because like you said, non-existent sex lives and unfulfilled sex lives is so prevalent, and people don't talk about it. They don't open up with it. Even between one another, they don't open up, let alone letting somebody else know that, hey, I'm about to lose my mind, or I'm not really happy, or all this other things. So first thing, don't allow your sex life to become robotic or become a chore.
Right.
Okay,
right.
It is so easy in a marriage relationship for it just to become robotic. It's just something we just gotta get this out the way, and I've heard of people scheduling times and all that kind of stuff. Like what? And and you're just doing it the same way, same position, same place all the time, and it just becomes a chore. Don't allow it to become that. Mix it up. Realize, and you know what motivates you to mix it up and make it good, because you realize that it's part of our connection.
Right.
And when you forget that it's part of our connection, I want to be connected to you, and I want it to be strong. I want it to be passionate, and so we got to mix it up. You can't just do the same thing every single time. You got to mix it up. All right. So y'all get the point on that. Don't let it become robotic and become a chore. Be a little bit daring. Be a little bit adventurous. All right. All right. So next thing is not realizing that neglecting other aspects of your marriage will spill over into your sex life.
That's true.
Sometimes people are saying, well, I just don't understand why we don't have frequent sex, and I just don't understand why we just don't have passionate sex. Well, part of the reason probably is because you just hurt her feelings. Right,
and the issue never got resolved.
Never got resolved.
You never talked about it. You never even sought help. If there's an area in your marriage where you need help, you never sought help. So those things, those other areas of your marriage affects your sex life.
Yes, it does. Unresolved issues in your other connections, like we said earlier.
Right.
Your emotional connection, your spiritual connection, unresolved issues in those other connections will spill over into your sex life.
Right.
And then that the connection flow is broken, and then so you have to realize that, I have to go back and make some things right. I got to go back and ask for forgiveness. I got to go and change. I got to make some things right before I can expect sex to be better. We have to be healed and whole before our sexual connection is going to be strong and going to be good. Right? All right. The next pitfall to avoid is don't let sex be so infrequent.
Right.
All right. Sometimes, we've heard of couples, my God.
Twice a year.
Twice a year. People do this, y'all. That's the devil. And I rebuke you in the name. 2 times a year. Oh my God. Go back to the pit. 2 times a year, once a month. Now, if you got physical challenges, or stuff like that, there's different things, or you
become creative.
You got to do something, but don't let it become infrequent. And this is where I said you got to find out the desired frequency of your spouse.
And that's where the communication comes.
The frequency. If you're trying to get into a radio station, you're trying to listen to what's 106.3 is the station here, right? And you're on 106.2.
Right.
All right. You might get something, but it's not going to come in clear, right? You gotta find the frequency of your spouse. Well, you know what? How often do you really desire it? Because some couples, you might be in a marriage where somebody's like an everyday, like I enjoy it every day, or as much as possible, you know, or you might be with somebody who says, about every 3 or 4 days, I'm feeling some kind of way.
Right.
But you got to know the frequency for your spouse. And the less sexual partner, listen to this, the less sexual partner has got to try to meet the more sexual partner at least. I ain't even gonna say halfway. You gotta try to meet them as close as you can to their desired frequency.
Right.
As close as you can. If not, be exactly on. If they say, and you know my number, right? You know how many days that I could go, and then I start being like, babe, babe, I love you. Come on now. So you know my number. I know your number.
Right.
Your number is a little larger than mine.
A little larger.
But so silly, man. Sorry. But you gotta know the frequency of your partner. We having fun. I'm gonna say this, and we're really almost done. Not giving sex to a more sexual partner. A lot of times it's the man. It feels like rejection.
Oh yes.
And you have to understand that it's not. What is he upset about? Why is he storming out the room because he didn't get none?
Right.
It feels like rejection, and the man feels cheated.
Right.
Because listen to when we do the marriage vows, it says forsaking all others, meaning that I shut out every other female in the world to make a covenant with you, and I'm dependent on you to meet my sexual need.
Right.
And then I signed up for the program, and I come to claim my prize, and there's an out of business sign on the door. Wait a minute now. I done invested in the program, and now I can't claim my reward. Man, I didn't got.
The doors are locked.
Yeah, chain lock on the door. A man will feel cheated. Don't let your man feel cheated. Woman, don't let your man leave and feel unfulfilled in your marriage. Do your job. Make that man feel like you ain't got to look nowhere else because you came in a covenant with me. Okay? And I'm going to fulfill that need.
Wow, that's good.
Don't always have a headache.
Always have a headache.
Don't always try to fall asleep real fast before he can. Honey, can you go take out the trash? Sure, honey. And you. He come back from taking out the trash and you done fixed it the way you could be knocked out sleep.
Right.
Come on, man.
Wait a minute now. Women too now.
Yes.
Because the woman might have the higher sex drive than the man. Okay. Right. So this goes both ways. Yeah.
Never hold out on your spouse as a form of punishment or control.
Ooh.
I wanted him to mow the lawn. That lawn ain't get mowed yet, so he better not. He think he gonna come in here and ask me for something. Till that lawn get mowed, ain't nothing going on in there. You can't use sex as a weapon, as a form of control. And sometimes relationships, they do that. They until I get what I want. That's not that servant mindset.
That's not the servant
mindset. I'm not going to be willing to do this until
that's a
what have you
mindset.
done for me lately, right?
Selfish mindset.
All right, and then the last point: never allow lust or sexual perversion from outside of your marriage to get into your marriage.
And I'm sure it happens a lot.
Yeah,
because the world, the media,
Yes.
everything you look at, everything you listen to is just so perverted these days. You can't even look at a commercial without it being perverted.
Yeah. You have to watch even your interactions on social media.
Right.
How you interact with the opposite sex. Watch what you're looking at, because nobody wants to feel like you are betrayed them by going outside your marriage. You gotta affair-proof your marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
that's
so
good.
watch your interactions. Watch your interactions with the opposite sex at work. Watch your interactions on social media. Don't bring anything from the outside. That marriage bed is undefiled. Okay? Yeah. You can never compromise that. Pornography. Listen, there is no place for that. It is sinful. It is against God. And just because your spouse is not meeting that need, you can't go to pornography and all of these other things that are out there to try to meet some kind of need. You have to get it right with your spouse, because when you invite that
get help.
When you invite that in, you have now not only sinned, but you're opening the door for your heart to look elsewhere.
Right.
And so those are some pitfalls to avoid in your sexual relationship. But this was so good.
It was so good.
You know, what happens to the sex after marriage. So I hope y'all take the keys.
Take the keys.
I hope that you heard what your spouse wishes that you knew.
Right.
And I hope you avoid these pitfalls, and so you can begin to revitalize the sexual side of your marriage today. So, well,
that's it.
On that note, we you know, we have a lot to do.
We have a lot to do, everyone.
So y'all have a good night.
Good night.
You know, we love y'all. Thank y'all for listening to us.
Right.
Again, we're gonna be coming into your homes more and just encouraging marriages.
Right.
This one was a little bit lengthy, but it's good material.
It's good material.
And there's even more that we have that we can really go into. But
right.
we thank you for tuning in because we understand that together we can.